William Brown makes over 500k per month cash collected with his high-ticket coaching business, with over 80% margins and only a couple of employees. But how is he able to do that? Well, in this video I'll break down his entire sales funnel, which is quite simple, but he has absolutely nailed the basics. So make sure to watch until the end so you can apply these same things to your high-ticket coaching or consulting business, or even for your agency. So let's start off with this traffic and then we'll go over the sales funnel itself. And the reason why I want to start off with this traffic, and especially his YouTube channel, is because this is the biggest contributor to all the success that William Brown has today with his high-ticket coaching business. And the reason why YouTube works so well is because, Google came out with a study recently that says on average it takes around 7 hours of exposure to turn someone from a stranger to a high-ticket client. And these 7 hours includes all the exposure to your brand. So all your content, all your emails that they read, all your calls, and so on. And the best way to achieve that 7 hours of exposure is to get people to watch these long-form videos. 36-minute videos, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 90 minutes, 1 hour, 6 minutes. If you just post Instagram Reels, just think how many 30-second Reels do you have to post to achieve these 7 hours of exposure? Quite a lot, right? But you need much fewer videos to come up to that same 7 hours of exposure. People can very easily start this binge watching session where they watch 2, 3, 4 videos in a row, and then they can already be in 4 hours of exposure just like that. But it takes hundreds and hundreds of reels and emails and ads to reach that same level. So now that we know why YouTube works in general, why does William Brown's YouTube work exceptionally well? Well, the reason for that is that he doesn't try. And that may sound counterintuitive, but he has said that himself. When he started out with his YouTube channel, he tried very hard like everyone else. He had these highly produced thumbnails like this one and this one right here. As you see, he tried to be like a normal YouTuber. He tried to get a lot of views with highly appealing thumbnails and overly produced videos with a lot of editing and animations left and right. But as you see, now he's posting these very raw pieces of content with no editing, with no crazy animations, with no scripting. No, he just sits in front of the camera and talks. He gives out a lot of value, and his thumbnails are also just a screenshot from the video itself. And the reason why this works so well for William Brown is because his niche is very sophisticated. His niche is turned off by highly produced, highly edited videos with crazy animations and overly produced thumbnails. His audience just wants to watch a video where you receive value. The closer his content is to a normal one-on-one conversation, the better it does. So the lesson you can take from this is that if you're also working with a highly sophisticated niche, then you should post these highly produced and overly edited videos, because your audience will be turned off by that. They won't want to watch your content. Instead, you want to make these very, very raw pieces of content where you just turn on the camera, you sit in your chair and just start talking. And then also your thumbnails should just be a screenshot of the video itself. Because these people know when they're being sold to, the only thing they care about is pure value. And then the other thing that he does very well with his YouTube is with his branding. As you see, on all his videos, he has consistent branding. He always has his white t-shirt, he has his coffee mug, he has his golden watch right there. In all of his videos, he has his coffee, white t-shirt, golden watch. So he keeps the branding consistent, and therefore people know what to expect. They recognize him much easier, and people know what they will be getting. And people also joke around in his comments that the coffee mug is glued onto his hand and other stuff like that. So you want to always keep consistent branding, and more importantly, a consistent topic on your YouTube channel. You don't want to mix topics around and create very different types of videos. You want to keep your YouTube channel very on topic. And on average, for William Brown, it takes around 202 views to get a qualified booked call for his high-ticket coaching business. And that's very, very low. It's not that hard to get 202 views. We can very easily calculate how many booked calls he's getting per video. This video right here got 3,500 views. So just from this video alone, he got around 17 booked calls for his coaching business. On no other platform can you get booked calls with these little views. On Instagram Reels, for example, it may take 100,000 views to get one booked call. YouTube is a very different ball game because it builds so much trust and gets people to know, like, and trust you. So a few things we can take away from his channel is, first of all, he has his link to work with him in his bio. And some of you are very scared to put a link in your bio because you think that it's pushy and salesy, but that's just wrong. You should always have a link to work with you to your high-ticket program in your bio, because otherwise you will be missing out on a lot of sales. And then the next important thing we can learn from his YouTube channel is that he has his most important links right here above the fold. So when you scroll down after his video, you can see his Work With Me, CTA, right here, before you click the See More button right here. And that's very important because most of you guys are just burying your most important links deep down in the description, and no one will find them. Therefore, you won't get any book calls from your videos. So always put all your most important links here above the fold so that people can instantly see them. And then the last thing is that he also has his CTA, his link, in his pinned comment right here. And that's because on mobile, you can't see your description when you scroll down after the video, but you can see the pinned comment. By just putting your link also in your pinned comment, you get a lot more booked calls from YouTube videos because then many more people will actually see your CTA. And his links from his YouTube channel go straight to his VSL page, both in the description and in the pinned comment. You never want to send people straight to a Calendly page, and you also never want to send people to an opt-in page. That's just like flushing money down the toilet. Many people do have a link to the VSL page, but they have an opt-in page before it. And that's also, you're just burning money because people are already in your ecosystem. They have already watched a lot of content. They're piping hot. You don't want to add another step because an opt-in page, you already lose half of your traffic. So always send them straight to a VSL page. No Calendly, no opt-in page. But then William Brown also has a Twitter, his X. And the strategy he has with his X is that always when he posts a new YouTube video, like this one right here, then he always also posts a tweet about the same video. So see, this video right here is about a simple one-person business that will make 5K a month in 2026. So then he also posts a tweet, 6 steps, that's all you need to make 5K per month. So see, it's the same video topic, but it's just framed slightly different. Then he talks about what he will cover in the video, and then further down, he has a link to go and watch his YouTube video right there. And this brings us back to the 7-hour rule that I talked about before. People on X, when they read your tweets, they maybe spend a few minutes with you, but that's not enough exposure. So what William Brown does is that he funnels people from his X to his YouTube channel. He promotes his YouTube channel a lot on his X. Every time he posts a new YouTube video, he also posts a tweet about it that funnels people to his YouTube channel. But then he also posts case studies on his X, but they also, funnel people to his YouTube channel because he posts these case studies as long-form videos, but they also funnel people straight to his VSL page so they can get some booked calls from his X as well. But then quite recently, William Brown has also started running ads, and currently he's running 3 different types of ads. And the first 2, they go to a VSL page, but that's not the same VSL page that he funnels people from YouTube to, but I will cover that very soon. And then the last type of ad goes to his quiz funnel that I will also cover very soon. So these first 2 ads right here, they are very similar, and the only difference is that one is a video and one is an image. And usually video ads do perform better than image ads, but that's quite a small difference, and that's why he's running both of them, because they appeal to different types of people. The important thing with ads, a part of the copy is very important, and also the creative itself is very important, obviously. But what you have written right there in the button is very important. You could just say, go watch this video. Instead, he says, be an unscalable consultant. And that sparks interest because that's opposite to what most people tell you. Most people say that you shouldn't sell your time for money and things like that, but he's telling you to be an unscalable consultant. And also right here, he says 580K per month without scaling. Here's how. So that also sparks a lot of interest. And as I said, these 2 ads funnel people to his VSL page, but that's a free training VSL. And other people also do run free training VSLs, but what most people do, especially from their ads, is that they run people to an opt-in page, and after the opt-in page, they can go and watch the free training VSL. Or if they run people straight to a page like this, when you click play the video right there, then it will open a pop-up, and you will have to put your contact information, and then you can watch the video. But he runs people straight to a free training VSL without any opt-in. He doesn't collect any leads from this free training VSL. And that may be, contradictory, but again, he's running ads to a very sophisticated market. And they know a lot about marketing stuff. They know all the opt-in page secrets. They know why people want your contact information and so on. So having an opt-in page usually turns off a sophisticated audience because they know that you're just trying to sell them, and you're just going to spam them later on. You're going to be filling their inbox, you're going to be sending SMS, you're going to be calling them. So most often in a sophisticated market, having no opt-in page usually works much better. But if your niche is more B2C, like a fitness coach or something like that, the people who don't know as much about marketing and sales, then an opt-in page usually works much better because then you can keep contacting them later on. And then one final thing to see with these both video ads is that they're both very similar to his YouTube videos. He keeps the branding the same. And that's also in his VSL videos. In his VSL videos, he keeps the topic and the branding exactly the same. Because it would be very, very weird if, on his YouTube channel, he's very raw and authentic, but then on his VSL page and his ads, he will be posted up, next to a Lamborghini. That's why you want to always keep all your videos, ads, VSL, YouTube content, you want to keep it all the same, the same brand. You can't change things. Either they're all in on the Lamborghini Dubai stuff, which which wouldn't work at all for his audience that's sophisticated, but it could work, if you sell to more like beginners. Or then you want to be all out, raw, unedited, and just pure value. So now let's get into the sales funnel itself. And let's start off with this VSL page that's designed for warm traffic, from YouTube and from X, and also people who come from his main website. So this is what his VSL page looks like. And as you see, it's very simple. There's not much going on. The only thing you see here is his headline, his video, and it's book a call button. And this is something you should also do. So many of you guys have way too much going on. You have a lot of things on your page that just don't contribute to anything. You only need to have the basics. And as I said in the beginning of the video, his funnel is very simple, but he has absolutely nailed the basics. As you see, the only thing you need to have on your VSL page is headline, video, and CTA. And optionally, you can also have, you can call out your ideal audience at the top of the page. And the reason why he doesn't do that is because his niche is quite broad. He works with beginners, he helps people start their business, but he also helps people scale their business, from 100K per month and beyond. So that's why he can't call out a specific audience. But if you have a specific niche, you should always call them out at the top of the page. But apart from that, he has all the things that you need and nothing extra. And then the thing that makes William Brown stand out is this headline right here. And this plays into the same brand that I've talked about before, this raw, unedited, authentic, brand. He says, here's how I might be able to help you. And that's again the reason, because he sells to a sophisticated audience. His niche knows all the marketing tricks. They know all the sales tactics. They know when you try to spark emotions and when you try to manipulate them with your copy. He's just being so honest, so raw, so authentic, and that works so well to his niche. The more sophisticated your audience is, the less salesy, the less pushy you want to be, and the more, honest you want to be. The marketing and sales tactics, they work to people who don't know about that stuff. So, if you're very B2C, like fitness coaches and so on, then you can play into those tactics and strategies. But otherwise, it's better to not. To be very clear, a headline like this wouldn't work at all for cold traffic. This is specifically for warm traffic who already know him, who already like him, who already trust him. So as you see, with his cold VSL that I will cover very soon, he doesn't have this same headline right there because that wouldn't work at all. So only have headlines like this for warm traffic. And then again, this VSL right here, it's very similar to his YouTube content. You need to always be congruent in your funnel. So this VSL right here, it's unedited, it's raw. Again, it's just him sitting by his computer with his brand. Again, with his coffee mug right there, his white t-shirt, going over a doc, or this is a Microsoft Word. And he goes over some case studies, what he does, his offer, very simple. And then at the end, his CTA to book a call. But because it's so, raw and just covers the necessary stuff, like case studies, for example, that gets these bigger business owners to trust him and want to work with him. And as I talked about with this headline, how this is for warm traffic, his CTA button is also for warm traffic. For warm traffic, you can say just book a call now. But for cold traffic, you need to frame the CTA a bit differently. A rule of thumb is that the less trust the CTA requires, the better. So then, below this VSL, below the book a call button, he has a long page, a pretty common website structure. And usually most people tell you that on your VSL page, you shouldn't have like anything. It should just be your headline, video, CTA button, and then a bunch of case studies beneath it. But the thing is that that's exactly what you want, again, for a less sophisticated market. Again, if you're that fitness coach, then you do want a headline, video, CTA, and then you want just an endless amount of case studies beneath that. Just nothing else. But because William Brown speaks to a more sophisticated audience, to high-end business owners, they want to do their research. And some of them are a bit more old school, so they don't want to watch videos. So therefore, he has a video right here, but he also has, a more normal website beneath it where he goes over his offer and methodology, which I will show you very soon, so that the people who don't want to watch videos can go and read that, and also people who are more skeptical can go and read that after they viewed the video. So see here, he tells you how they can help you. He helps you build your business, he helps you grow your business, and he helps you exit your business. And then he says there are 4 core elements to a successful online education business. Then he goes over more about his methodology, traffic, sales process, conversion, value. Then another CTA, start building today. And you see here, this CTA doesn't just say book a call. This is more aspiring for the more skeptical people that scroll down the page. Then he tells you why you have to get it just right. He kind of tells you it's not that easy, and it's very hard to do it on your own because you have to get it just right, and therefore you do need to work with him. And then he goes over why you need to work with them, more case studies here, like from Mike Diamonds, from Mike Thurston. These are from people that you recognize, that you do know, and these are the best case studies that you can have. Because when people scroll down a page, when they see someone that they know, that they already like, then he can borrow their trust. Because if you trust Mike Thurston a lot, and then you see his case study on William Brown's page, then you will automatically trust William Brown a lot more. And then he has this last CTA right here before his FAQ section. And then when you eventually click his book a call button, you will go to his calendar page right here. And this is one thing that many people debate over. Some people say that you should have your calendar page on your VSL page. So the calendar should be right here below the book a call button. And the benefit to that is that then you don't lose people in the conversion in between. Then you can show your calendar to everyone who comes to your VSL page so they can instantly book a call. Because always, the more steps, the more pages you have in your funnel, the more opportunities you give people to leak out. So that's why you see many people like Hormozy, Iman, Sabri Subi, they all have their calendar right here below their book a call button. But that can be a bit messy. So William Brown has his calendar on its own page, and the benefit to having a calendar on its own page is that then you can just send a link to your calendar page to people. So for example, if you do in like cold outreach, then you can just put a link to your calendar page in the email, or in your newsletter you can put the link straight to your calendar page if you want to. But again, if you look at his calendar page, you see it's very simple. He only has the necessary stuff. So he says, book a call now, short sub headline, please wait for 5 seconds for the calendar to load. And the reason for that is that he knows his calendar right here, his Calendly, it takes a few seconds to load, and you do notice it. And the way to counteract that people don't, jump out of his funnel is that he just says, be patient and just wait 5 seconds. And then this page is very short. He doesn't have anything beneath this. And that's because when people go to his calendar page, the only thing he wants you to do is to book a call. He doesn't want you to be distracted about anything else. And then one very important thing with the calendar that William Brown does is that he only lets you book a call 3 days into the future. Today when I record, it's the 13th of January, but I can only book a call the 14th, 15th, or 16th. And most of you guys let people book a call like 2 weeks in the future. You would let people book a call the 31st of January. And the reason you want to limit how far into the future people can book a call is because the further into the future someone books a call, the lower their show-up rate. If you allow people to book a call 2 weeks into the future, their show-up rate goes through the toilet. If someone books a call 2 weeks into the future, the chance of them remembering the call and the exact time are very slim. People are very busy these days and they don't remember things more than a few days. So your show-up rate for someone who books a call, let's say the 31st, could be like, 20%. But by just having people book a call 3 days into the future without changing anything else, your show-up rate could instantly go to like 60%. It could 3x, just that small change. But then one small critique is that he has very few time slots available. Tomorrow, Wednesday 14th, he has only one time available. 15th, well, here he has 4 times, but at 22 p.m., 20 p.m., they are not very convenient times. And then Friday 16th, here he has a bit more times. A rule of thumb is that your calendar should be 70% booked out. Some of you guys think that if your calendars are packed up, if you have almost no availability, then people will think you're getting a lot of booked calls, people will assume that you have a lot of demand, and therefore it will create this urgency to book a call. But that's just not true. Because now, when its availability is this low, the chance that I find a time that's convenient for me is very low. And if I don't find a time that's convenient for me, the chance that I book a call is very, very slim. Even if I wanted to book a call, if I don't find a time that suits me, I won't book a call. So just by adding more availability to your calendar, you will be getting a lot more booked calls. And I presume that's one thing that William Brown is working on. He's probably trying to hire more salespeople so that he can get more availability. And then when you choose a time slot, it opens up this form right here. And as you see, first up right here, he says the call is a business diagnosis call. And that's a very smart move. You should never say that it's a sales call, because people hate being sold to, and that will hurt your conversion by a lot, because no one wants to go on a sales call. You should always want to frame it as a benefit, as something free, valuable that they will get. So by saying it's a business diagnosis call, it requires much less trust, and people will and people know that they will receive value from it. But then, this is a pretty standard form. You ask for your name, email, phone number. Then you ask if you have existing offers or services. All the things that he needs to know about you, he wants to ask them right here. He asks your full-time earnings to know, how much you have to invest. He asks your age, your current monthly income. And then this is one very important question that most people usually forget. He asks, how confident are you that you are ready to hire William to coach you? Some people may be the exact ideal client for your business, but some of them are just not ready to work with you yet. They're not ready to spend high ticket prices for your service. Some people just book a call to find out more, to just, shop around. Some people may want to work with you in 6 weeks' time, but they still book a call right now. And that's just a waste of your time. If you get a lot of booked calls, you only want to get on calls to people who are ready to work with you right now and who are confident in working with you. Because if someone's not confident in working with you right now and they are looking to get started in 2 months' time, then that's an instant sign that you won't close them. So that's why you want to have a question like this so that you don't waste your time. And this is the same type of question he asks. He says, working with William and his team is a premium high-touch consulting service that comes with a premium price tag. If it looks like we're a good fit, are you in the right place financially to invest in yourself and your business right now? And if you say no, he won't get on a call with you. because you just say that you won't pay him. You want to always have these types of questions. And then this right here is to increase the show up rate and to make sure that people have good microphone, good audio, and that their internet won't run out during the call. So then this right here is the cold VSL page that I talked about before, that he runs his ads to. And you can very easily see that this is for cold traffic and this other VSL page is for warm traffic. So as you saw with this other VSL page, he told you, here's how I might help you. But this VSL right here, this is a free training. And he says, make money teaching others what you love through unscalable consulting. So this is more of a standard headline that you would use. He has unscalable consulting here, and that's his unique mechanism that makes him stand out from everyone else in the market, because he now owns this term. And you need to have some sort of own mechanism that makes you stand out every time you run something for cold traffic. And then he has a sub-headline that says, with sky-high profit margins, reliable and predictable cash flow, great clients, and lots of fun. And the thing with your sub-headline is that you should always overcome your most common objections and limiting beliefs that your headline creates. So he knows that when people read his headline, they will think, what about profit margins? Well, he overcomes that right here. They will think, is it reliable? Is it predictable? Do you get great clients? And so on. So he overcomes all his objections in his sub-headline right here. And again, his video right here is very similar to all his YouTube content. He keeps branding the same. It's very raw, authentic. He doesn't change things around. And as I told you before, this page, it's a free training video, but he doesn't have an opt-in. He doesn't collect leads. And, some of you guys may think that that's crazy, that's stupid from him. You always want to collect leads so that you can contact them later on, so that you can email them, so that you can send SMS, so that you can reduce the leaks of your funnel. And almost everyone who runs a free training has an opt-in page before it, so that they can convert the people who don't book a call right away. Either they have an opt-in page right away, or when you click the video, like this right here, then you would open a pop-up where you need to fill out your information, and only then can you watch the video. But as I said, he sells to a sophisticated market, and they know what he tries to do with an opt-in page. They know what he will do after you put in your contact information. So that's why it's better for him to just have this video right away and to just provide value, make you trust him, and therefore make you want to book a call. And then, again, as we see with this page is very short. And that's because the only thing he wants you to do is to watch this video right here. Again, he doesn't want you to get distracted and do anything else. He only wants you to watch this video, and after that, click here to book a call. And as I've already talked about before in this video, is that what you have on your CTA button matters a lot. On his warm VSL page, he could just write on his CTA button, book a call right here, or just, book a call. But on a cold VSL page, you can't just write book a call, because that requires much more trust. And as I already said, the rule of thumb is to make your CTA require as little trust as possible. And see if you qualify requires much less trust than a book a call. So then when you click this see if you qualify button, it opens up his same calendar that you saw before. And then finally, he has his quiz. And his quiz is what he uses to collect leads. It's not like William Brown doesn't collect any leads at all. He doesn't hate leads. It's just that he doesn't force things together. He doesn't combine two objectives together with force. Some people may think that, okay, I want to run a VSL funnel, I want to run a free training, and I also want to collect leads. Oh yeah, I will just combine those together. I will have a VSL funnel, but I will have an opt-in page before it. I can hit two birds at once. But that's not how it works. You need to think. You can't just force two things together. You need to think, more broadly. You need to think about your niche. In this case, William Brown, again, works with a very sophisticated market, so they would never opt in for his free training, therefore the VSL funnel wouldn't work. So that's why he runs people straight to the VSL page, no opt-in, and then he has a different funnel. He has this quiz funnel that collects leads for him. And I will very shortly explain why he runs a quiz funnel instead of a normal lead magnet funnel. Because a quiz funnel has a lot more benefits that almost no one talks about. But let's first break down this page. So as you see here, now he calls out his ideal audience here at the top of the page. As I told you with his warm VSL page, that he could call out his ideal audience there, but he doesn't. But here he calls out for freelancers, experts, coaches, consultants, and influencers. So this is one thing you need. Then he has his headline. And you see, this headline is for colder prospects. He says, don't know your business growth archetype, then you're likely building the wrong business. So, he has this open question that makes you think. Then he has this statement right here that builds intrigue. Then again, he has this sub-headline right here that handles the most common objections that you get by reading the headline. So he says, it's more than just an archetype. Discover the next 3 steps that you need to take based on your founder profile and archetype to scale your income without burnout. The biggest objections that he gets from his headline are most likely it's just an archetype and I don't want to be burned out and so on. Then he has third-party social proof right here, and third-party social proof is always much better than your own case studies, because your own case studies you can fake, but third-party social proof you can never fake. So you want to always have some sort of proof on your page. And then he has this CTA right here, start quiz, very simple. And then he has this benefit right here, takes less than 60 seconds. Because most people, when they see a quiz, they will subconsciously think in their mind, this would take 10, 15 minutes. I don't have time for that. I don't have the attention span to do that. So I want to tell you that it's very fast, very easy to do, because one of the vectors in Alex Hormozi's value equation is speed. So by reducing the time that it takes, it increases the value of the quiz. And then he has this, short text right here, this sales letter. Do you ever feel stuck, lost, or confused about how to actually scale? You aren't alone. And he has more proof right here. I built this diagnostic tool based on data from 4,000 plus customers and 40 million in sales, just to make you trust him and his quiz. So then, when you start the quiz, you will open up these questions right here. And the first question is, which of these snapshots best describes where you are today? It's like a normal quiz. He has a lot of questions that you answer, and then based on your questions, will you then get, a free training, a lead magnet for your unique situation. And what you notice with this quiz is that he has his qualification questions in his quiz right here. And that's very genius, and that's the biggest power of the quiz funnel, because that opens up a whole world of possibilities of what you can do with that information. As you remember, one of his questions in his qualification form, when you try to book a call, is that how much do you make per month? You see, he has the same question right here. He has these qualification questions disguised as his quiz questions. When you fill out this quiz, you think that these questions are for the quiz results. Well, which they are, obviously, but they also serve a bigger purpose for William Brown. In a normal lead magnet funnel, you just get opt-ins. You just get name, email, and phone number. But with a quiz funnel, you get opt-ins, you get leads, but you know which leads are qualified and which leads are not. You get a lot more information from every single lead. William Brown has like 20 questions in this form right here. So he gets 20 pieces of information more than he would with a normal lead magnet. For example, he knows exactly how much each lead makes. This question says, will you sacrifice time and ensure stress to make more money and grow your business? And he probably knows, if you say that yes, whatever I have to do to make more money and grow my business, I will do it. He knows that if you answer this, you're more likely to become a client and you will be a much better client. So you see, he gets a lot of information about his leads. Now he knows which leads are more likely to become clients. He knows that people who answer this right here are more likely to become clients. So therefore, he can spend more time, more attention, more energy on trying to convert these people right here, instead of spending unnecessary time contacting these people, because he knows that they are less likely to become clients. He has everything he needs to know, everything he wants to know about people is in this form. He has questions for all the information he needs. And as you see, he has almost only these multi-choice questions right here, because they are much easier to answer. You just need to click one button. But if you have these long essay questions, these text questions, then people will need to think and write something out, and some people just can't be asked and they will just not complete your form. But if you have these multi-choice questions, it will increase your completion rate on your form by a lot. And then he also shows how many questions you have left up here, to gamify the process, and so that you know how much is left until the end. And then when you complete the form, it will tell you that your results are ready, and then you just put in your name, email address, and phone number. This is the normal opt-in form that everyone has on their opt-in page, but instead, now William Brown has got a lot more information about you before you ever give your contact information. Then after you fill out that, you will go to this page right here, where it will tell you, at what level you are. For example, a pivot pivoneer. Then there's a video right here that goes over your stage, the common problems there, how you can break out of it. And then he has a CTA to buy his video course right here. And then after you have bought his video course, this one right here, then he will try to ascend you to his high-ticket coaching program. And he also tells you in his video that if you want to work with him one-on-one, you can book a call once you are inside the program. So he frames it in a way where you are already going to purchase his course for $97, and then once you are inside, then you can book a call from this course to become a high-ticket coaching client. And this low-ticket offer right here is his video course, also helps him liquidate his ad spend. By just running a normal lead magnet, then he would spend money and he would get money only once he gets clients. But now he spends money, gets people to purchase a low ticket offer for $97. This offsets some of his ad spend, and then after that he gets people to become clients. So let's say it costs him $20 to get one person to complete his form right there. Well, if he gets, let's say, 10% of people to buy his video course, to buy his low ticket offer, he would get, 10% times at $97, which is equal to $9.7. So by having a low ticket offer after his lead magnet, he can offset half of his ad spend. So instead of paying $20 for every lead he gets through his quiz funnel, he now loses only $10. And also, getting clients from your ad spend, that may take like two weeks. It's a long process. But now, when you buy a video course, you get that $10 back instantly. So you instantly liquidate half of your ad spend, and it's much less risky. But then, as I said, running a quiz funnel opens up a whole different world of possibilities of what you can do. And one of the biggest benefits of the quiz funnel is that you can redirect people to different pages based on lead quality or different characteristics. And therefore, you can train your ad algorithm on only qualified people. And that's not something that you can do with a normal opt-in form like this one right here. And for a normal opt-in form like this, you redirect everyone to the same page. So what William Brown does is that he redirects people to different pages, exactly like this one right here, based on your answers to the quiz survey, based on what archetype you are. But you could also redirect people, for example, based on their revenue range. So for example, people who make 10 to 20K per month go to one page, and people who make 30 to 40K per month go to one page, and so on. You get the point. But the thing is that you want people to different pages based on their answers to the quiz survey. So people go to different types of pages, and William Brown, I think, has like 5 different pages. He has 5 different archetypes, and all of these pages are exactly the same. They're exactly like this one, but the only difference is the text right here. Here it says Pivot Pioneer, and then the video is also different on every single page. But other than that, they are exactly the same page. So what William does is that he redirects all the qualified people to these 2 pages, for example, right here, after they have completed the form, and then all the unqualified people go to the other pages right there. Based on your archetype, you go to different pages. So what you now want to do is that you want to train your ad algorithm on only qualified people. So you want to fire your metapixel only on pages where there are qualified people. So on these 2 pages right here. So on these 2 pages right here, where qualified people go, there you want to fire your metapixel so that you train your ad algorithm on only qualified prospects. And the benefit of this is that now your ads are going to be shown to more of your qualified prospects, to only qualified people, because you're training your ad algorithm only on them. And this is a problem that most people have. Most people train, as I said, they train their ad algorithm on every single lead. As I told you, most of your leads are not going to be qualified. So therefore, your ads are going to be shown to shitty leads. They're going to be shown to freebie seekers, price shoppers, just shitty prospects. And that's because you're training your algorithm on shit. That's why you get shit. If you train something on quality, you get quality. So if you want your ads to be shown to people you actually want to work with, to high quality prospects, then you need to train your ad algorithm on those qualified prospects. Because right now, you're funneling every single lead to the same page, so you're training your ad algorithm on like 50% shit, 50% good. Therefore, you want to redirect all the unqualified people you don't want to work with to different pages than the qualified ones, and only fire your metapixel on the page where the qualified people go to. And the only way you can do this is if you have a quiz funnel, because then you know exactly what leads are qualified and which leads are not. If you just have a normal opt-in form with only name, email, and phone number, then you don't know who's qualified and who's not. So therefore, you can't redirect people to different pages. And this is exactly how William Brown can get his ads shown to the exact audience he wants. Because he works with higher-end business owners that already make, let's say, 100K per month. By definition, they are a minority. Only a very small percentage of business owners make, let's say, 100K per month. So only like 1% of all his leads make 100K per month, whereas 99% of all his leads are in those terms, unqualified. So if you would redirect all of these people to the same page, if you would redirect this 99% to the same page as this 1%, then this 99% would dominate his ad algorithm. His ad algorithm would be mostly trained on these unqualified prospects that he doesn't want to work with. And therefore, his ads will be shown to more of them. But instead, what he does is that he redirects these top 1%, the higher-end business owners that he wants to work with, to a different page, and he fires a metapixel on only that page. He trains his ad algorithm on only that page where this 1% goes to. And that's how we can get his ad shown to these very, very high-end business owners, because he trains his ad algorithm only on them. This is how we can get his ad shown to the top of the top business owners that make 100K per month, even though they are a minority. Because he redirects them to a different page where he fires his metapixel, so that the 99% don't dilute his algorithm. And then another benefit of the quiz funnel is that now you can know exactly what percentage of all your leads are qualified and what percentage of your leads are not qualified. You may find out, for example, that only 10% of your leads are qualified and 90% of your leads are unqualified. But now you have data. Now you know that there's a problem, so now you can fix it. Now you can go and change your ad campaigns to go attract more qualified people. But if you only have a normal opt-in form with only name, email, phone number, then you have no data. Then you don't know how many of your leads are unqualified and how many are qualified. So therefore, you can't change anything because you have no data. But now when you know how many of your leads are qualified, how many are unqualified, now you can actually improve things and slowly but surely increase the percentage of qualified leads that you're actually getting. And then the last benefit of the quiz funnel is that you can calculate different conversion rates based on different characteristics that people have. So for example, you may find out that people who acquire paying clients with content, they convert at, let's say, 10%. So 10% of everyone who wants your content buy his video course. And then he may find out that people who say they acquire clients with paid ads, they convert at 5%. So 5% of people who answer, they get clients with paid ads by his video course. So now he has data that says people who get clients with content, they are 2 times more likely to convert than people who acquire clients with paid ads. And I'm just making up these numbers, but if you have a quiz funnel, you can actually calculate specific conversion rates based on different characteristics that people have, based on different answers that people give. If this would be the case, then now he could start targeting more people that acquire clients with content because they are twice more likely to convert, instead of wasting his energy on people who get clients with paid ads because they are much less likely to convert. And that's why I believe the quiz funnel is the best way to get leads, especially for cold traffic in 2026. So then from the video course and from the form, will you get high-ticket calls for his business. And again, this call is a business diagnosis call. It's not a normal, just sales call. He frames it as something that gives people value. And then from these calls, he then closes high-ticket clients for his coaching business. And at the time of recording this video, William Brown has said that he has a close rate of around 16%. And that's not so great, but he can live with that because his coaching packages are very high ticket. They can be around 25K for one coaching package. So when he closes a client, he gets a lot of money. So therefore, he doesn't need as high close rate because he gets so much from the ones that do close. And he doesn't want to close all clients. No, he's very picky with who he wants to work with. And that's also one factor of why his close rate is lower. And also William Brown would much rather have a low close rate with a very, very high ticket package instead of having a higher close rate with a lower price. Because you get the same amount of money if you work with 100 clients who pay you 10K, or if you work with 10 clients who pay you 100K. So, William Brown would much rather work with 10 clients who make 100K than with 100 clients who pay 10K. Because it's so much less work to work with 10 clients than with 100. It's much less stress and it's a lot fewer people you need to think about. And that's why he can have so few employees, because he doesn't work with 100 different clients at the same time. But the industry standard close rate is around 25%. So I believe this is something that he is trying to improve, but he can still live with 16% because his price is so high. Then also, William Brown has a 55% show up rate on his course. And that's not so good. And I believe this is also something that he's trying to work with. And you can get your show up rate to like 70% plus or even more with the correct, sequence and system before the call. And you can even get it to like 90% if you have a very good pre-call system. And then also, William Brown's cash collected per booked call is 1.8K. So not even showed up calls. Every single booked call that he gets 1.8K. So that's why he can spend so much on ads and create so much content, because he knows if I get this many booked calls, I'll get this amount of money. So this right here is exactly how William Brown can make more than 500K per month with over 80% profit margins and only a few employees. So if you have any more questions about anything that we covered in this video, I will leave my Instagram in the description below. So just feel free to shoot me a DM and I would be more than happy to help you out. See you in the next one.